In the summer of 1966, China descended into a storm that would last a decade. A storm born not of nature, but of ideology. A revolution where classrooms became battlegrounds, neighbors became enemies, and loyalty to one man became more sacred than life itself. This is the story of how Mao Zedong turned a nation of 1 billion souls against itself and called it the Cultural Revolution. By 1966, Mao Zedong's grip on China had started to fade. His grand experiment, the Great Leap Forward, had promised to transform China into an industrial superpower. Instead, it left tens of millions dead in one of history's worst famines. The blame fell quietly on Mao. He had stepped back from power, watching from the shadows as new leaders tried to fix what he had broken. But Mao was not a man who could fade into history. He believed the Communist Party itself had grown corrupt, bourgeois, and lazy. He wanted to purify it with fire. And so, he planned his comeback. Not through politics, but through revolution. On May 25, 1966, at Beijing University, a philosophy professor named Ni Yuanzi hung a poster accusing school leaders of betraying Mao's ideology. It was fiery, emotional, and dangerous. But when Mao himself praised her poster, it became a signal heard across the nation. Within weeks, walls were covered with slogans: "Down with the revisionists," "Smash the old world." China's youth, restless, idealistic, and loyal to Mao, began to rise. They called themselves the Red Guards. Millions of students abandoned their schools, donned red armbands, and began to rebel in the name of revolution, armed not with guns, but with Mao's words. They stormed through cities and villages. Teachers were humiliated in classrooms. Parents were denounced by their own children. Libraries burned, temples destroyed, history rewritten. Anything considered old customs, old culture, old habits, old ideas, was to be annihilated. In those days, to survive, one had to prove loyalty. Loyalty meant only one thing: devotion to Chairman Mao. Mao became more than a man. He became a god. His image hung in every home, every factory, every classroom. His book, Quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong, the Little Red Book, became the sacred scripture of the new China. Morning prayers were replaced by political chants. Even weddings and funerals opened with oaths of loyalty. The people didn't just follow Mao, they worshipped him. And Mao, he watched, smiling, as the flames of chaos consumed his enemies and his nation. Mao's first targets were inside his own party. President Liu Shaoqi, once a loyal comrade, became the symbol of betrayal. Accused of taking the capitalist road, Liu was dragged from his home, beaten, and paraded through the streets. His wife was forced to wear a placard reading, "Wife of a traitor." Their children were sent to labor camps. By 1969, Liu Shaoqi was dead, his body left unclaimed. Others followed: Deng Xiaoping, Peng Dewa, countless ministers, writers, and professors. Anyone could be next. A whispered rumor, a wrong word, even a forgotten Mao badge could mean prison or death. By 1967, the revolution had no direction. Red Guards began to turn on each other, each faction claiming to be the true defenders of Mao. Cities became war zones. Trains were hijacked, universities burned, entire families vanished. Even Mao realized the chaos had gone too far. But he didn't stop it, not yet, because chaos had a purpose. It destroyed his rivals and ensured no one would dare challenge his authority again. In 1968, Mao called in the People's Liberation Army to restore order. Millions of Red Guards, once his soldiers of ideology, were now seen as threats. They were sent to the countryside, told to learn from the peasants. It was called the Down to the Countryside movement, but behind the slogan lay punishment. Urban youth used to classrooms in cities, now labored in fields, hungry and forgotten. For many, it was a life sentence in exile. They called them the Lost Generation. Over 17 million young people sent away, their education destroyed, their future stolen. They had fought for Mao's revolution, only to become its victims.